Hi everyone, welcome to you all once again to our last episode of Housing and Clothing. Hi, I'm Sushmita Rai. Once again, your class 3 science teacher is back with the last edition of Housing and Clothing. So children, with this chapter, we will be finishing our 3 chapters in science. See, sitting at home, we have finished so much of study. So let's start. So before entering into the last part of our chapter, let us review the things which we have already learned about housing and clothing. So over here, we have already learned that after food, housing and clothing are the next most important things that we require for our living, for our survival. All the living animals, all the living beings around us require these 3 things. These are the basic important things in our lives. So children, we have learned that housing is a shelter or refuge or a natural covering that encloses and protects an animal or any other living thing. It keeps us safe from bad weather such as rain, sunlight, storm and other natural disasters. Along with that, it protects us from the other unsafe things, dangers that can take place without any notice. House is a place of protection. It is a place of rejoice. It is a place of enjoyment. It is a place where after the full day of busy schedule, all of us come together to spend some quality time, to spend some family time. Clothes. Another important thing, another basic requirement of our life. Generally, animals do not require these clothes to wear because somehow or the other they have the protective skin on their body which helps them to protect from the harmful effects of the environment, from the climatic changes, from the climatic effects. But we, the human beings, require these clothes. Why? Because we have to look good, because we have to represent ourselves, because we have to represent our culture, our custom, our background. Plus, it is a protection. It serves as a protection, providing a barrier between the skin and the environment. Our skin is not capable to protect us from the different environmental effects. It cannot protect us from the storm. It cannot protect us from the harmful effects of sunlight. So we have to wear these clothes to protect us from the harmful effects of the environment, to protect our skin. Clothes also can insulate our body from different environmental effects like the cold weather, like the hot sun. So these are some of the protective measures that are provided by these clothes. Other than these houses and clothes, which are the most important requirements of our life, we have already learned that while we are studying about houses, we can classify these houses on the basis of the materials that are being used to make them. We have classified them into kacha house. Why? because these houses are made up of mud, sticks, straw. We can see these houses in villages or in remote areas. As these houses are made up of mud, sticks, straw, we know that all these materials are very weak. They are very soft. Therefore, they can be easily destroyed by the strong winds or heavy rainfall. For example, hut. Again, there are some permanent houses or pakka houses like bungalows, apartments, our homes, shopping malls, etc. These things are made up of cements, stones, bricks, rods. Now see all these things, the cement, stones, bricks, rods, all these things are very strong. Therefore, they provide a strong base to the pakka houses or permanent houses. That's why they are much more stronger than the kacha houses. And hence they are very strong and they cannot be destroyed easily by the effects of nature. And lastly, we have learnt about the temporary houses. Why? Because these houses are made in such a way, or the materials that are used to make this type of houses are very comfortable to carry. They can be taken away from one place to another place, they can be moved from one place to another place. So these houses or these materials which are used to make these temporary houses are used by the people who keep on moving from one place to another place, either in search of food, in search of money, or in search of expedition, in search of exploration, whatever. For example, tents, caravans, houseboats, right? Now the people who keep on moving from one place to another place in search of food, shelter, workplace, they are known as nomads and their life is known as nomadic life. Children, we have learnt about a good and clean house. Why this good and clean house is necessary for us? We have learned that it is not important for us to have a huge house, to have a big house. But what is important is that how tidy, how well maintained we are keeping our house, how hygienic we are maintaining. For a good house should be well ventilated with lots of windows or verandas so that the sunlight, the fresh air can come inside. The sunlight can disinfect our rooms, the things that are present in our rooms. There must be proper drainage system in a good house so that there is no water coagulation and no insects, germs, mosquitoes can germinate over there, can grow over there. And the drainage system should be well covered and they should be cleared and cleaned regularly. A good house must have lots of greenery around it. There must be lots of green plants, trees, so that there is a huge supply of oxygen, which is very essential for us to live healthy. The dustbins, toilets, kitchens, the furnitures, everything should be cleaned regularly and maintained properly. The dustbin should be covered so that the germs, the flies does not come out of the dustbin. They does not spread the infection. Our houses should look tidy. It should be well maintained. We should utilize our time in maintaining the hygiene, in maintaining the dignity of our houses. Why all these things are so important, children? We can say like that only, right? But no, it is important. Why? Because living in a clean house helps us to stay healthy, as our dirty house can be the breeding place for insects and germs, and this can lead to spreading of different diseases in us. Therefore, it is very important that we maintain the cleanliness and hygiene of our house, our room, and the surroundings of our house. Now we will move on to the last part of our chapter. Here we will learn about the fibers, the types of fibers, and the types of clothes that are made out of these fibers. So let's learn first what are fibers. Children, clothes are made up of very thin threads of fiber. We all wear these clothes to cover our body, and we already learned that clothes protect us from heat, cold, rain, dust, insects, etc., and the different environmental effects also. Very small pieces of these fabrics are attached together to form clothes which we wear. Now, the fabrics about which we are talking, the fibers about which we are talking, are drawn from two sources. One is natural, another is man-made or artificial. So first we will learn what are natural fibers. Yes, over here I have presented a chart. Here you can see that fibers have two sources, natural and synthetic. The natural fibers can further be classified into plant and animal. There are some natural fibers which are made from plant materials. There are some natural fibers which are made from animal materials. And there are some fibers which are not obtained from any natural product. They are obtained synthetically. They are made in factories. They are made by humans. That's why they are also known as man-made fibers. Now about the natural fibers, we have learned that there are two types, plant and animal. The fibers which are obtained from plants are called plant fibers, and the fibers which are obtained from animals are called animal fibers. Now for plant fibers, we can take as jute, rubber, cotton. For animal fibers, we can take silk, wool. So natural fibers that are obtained from plants and animals. See, here are some examples of natural fibers like cotton, silk, wool, and we use these fibers to make different materials. Let us see. Sweaters. Sweaters are made up of wool, and wool is an animal fiber. We get wool from sheep. It is used to make woolen clothes such as sweaters, socks, coats, etc. Fur, the soft hair of some other animals, are also used to make warm clothing. Jute. We get jute fibers from jute plants. It is used to make clothes and other products such as mat, bag, etc. Cotton. We get cotton fibers from cotton plants. It is used to make cotton clothes such as shirt, sari, trousers, etc. Next is rubber. We get rubber from rubber plants. It is used to make mats, shoes, etc. And the last type is silk. We get silk from silkworm. The silk thread is obtained from the cocoon that the silkworm weaves around it. They are used to make saris, dress materials, etc. Man-made fibers. The fibers that are made in factories are called synthetic fibers or artificial fibers or man-made fibers. Nylon, polyester, acrylic, etc. are used to make raincoats, clothes, ropes. Here you can see a sari. It is written over here 100% polyester. That is, it is made up of polyester. See the different types of synthetic fibers. There is rayon or the artificial silk. There is nylon, which is used to make ropes, bottles, plates. There is polyester. Polyester is very popular for making clothes. We have learnt about polycot, polywool. They are used to make different types of clothes and apparels. And the acrylic. Last we will go for the types of clothes. The first have already appeared in front of you. From the different types of clothes that are over here, you can well determine that what types of clothes are these and when we wear these clothes. Yes, these clothes are clearly signifying that we wear them during the summer season. In the hot weather, we wear light colored cotton clothes, as the cotton absorbs sweat and helps to keep our body cool. The villains. During cold weather, we wear dark colored silk or woolen clothes, as they do not let the body heat escape and keep our body warm. People living in very cold and snowy places wear clothes made of fur to keep themselves warm. This wool does not let the heat from our body escape. As a result, we can stay warm for a long time. Yes, here are the clothes that we generally use during rainy season. In the rainy season, we use umbrellas and raincoats to protect ourselves from rain. These are made up of waterproof material which do not absorb water. These clothes also dry up very quickly. As these materials are made up of water resistant things, therefore they do not allow the water to stay up on it and they do not absorb water. Hence they can dry up very easily. So they are very comfortable to use during the rainy season. So here are the different types of clothes that we wear during the different weather, different seasons that we face throughout the year. Summers, rainy season and winter season. Every season has its separate features and all these features are supported by these different types of clothes that we change during the different seasons. So here children, we are already at the end of your third chapter, housing and clothing. I hope I have passed you all the necessary information regarding housing and clothing. we have learned about why housing and clothing is the important parts of our life, the basic materials of our life. We have learned the importances of housing and clothing both. We have learned about the different types of houses based on the materials that are used to make them. We have learned about a good and clean house, the features of a good and a clean house, and what will happen if we do not maintain the hygiene and cleanliness of our homes. Lastly, we have learned about the fibers which are used to make the clothes that we wear. On the basis of the source of fiber, we have classified the fibers into two types, natural and artificial. And we have also learned about the different types of clothes that we change during the different seasons. How these clothes help us to support during the different seasons and their climatic changes. So with this, we approach to the end of this chapter. Please take care, stay safe, stay at home. Thank you.